So the solid body, just brand new this year, is the first ever truly fully electric guitar from Taylor. This was all started because of the pickup. And the pickup on this guitar came about because we were looking for the sweet tones of a vintage humbucker, like a patent applied for old school humbucker, but we wanted the versatility of a modern output pickup. So something that could drive an amp or clean up an amp and have more dynamic range than a low output old school humbucker. Now what was great about the old school humbuckers, they were just, again, warm, round, earthy, organic. To get more output, the way you used to do that would you put more wire on the coil. You had more turns of wire, makes more output, but it also has the same effect of doing this. It makes the pickup darker, cloudy, murkier. So you lose high end, you lose definition, articulation when you add output. So it's always been this compromise and juggle. Pickup manufacturers are trying to figure out how do I get output and yet not lose tone. So we started playing with things like, what happens if we force like poles together? Right, everybody knows opposites attract when it comes to magnets. North goes to south. Well, we thought, we're trying to hyperextend a magnetic field or the flux density, and all of a sudden we're like, oh wow, we're like in Back to the Future. But we're forcing north to north and south to south with 3 different bar magnets. When you force like poles together, you get a magnetic field, a flux field that looks like a light bulb. It kind of goes up and then it has a big bloom. And then, not knowing any better, we thought, what if we put a really efficient coil in that hypercharged space? And by putting an efficient coil, it means less turns of wire. Well, less turns of wire means more tone, but since it's in a hypercharged space, we have more output. This pickup, once Bob heard it, said, you know what, that deserves to live. And that's how things are really born at Taylor. It's not we're going to go and do a focus group and we're going to go rule the world and own a certain market segment. Ideas are born at Taylor because they sound good, or they play good, or they feel good. And so the new pickup was born, and so we started in on a design task then. Bob said it deserves to have a guitar built around it. So being guitar makers and not guitar assemblers, we didn't just go out and get an off-the-shelf bridge and off-the-shelf knobs and off-the-shelf parts and make a guitar. We decided, well, let's make our own bridge while we're at it. And we worked for the better part of a year on this bridge, and Bob said it had to feel and look like a beautiful watch band. That was the design sense. But on the other hand, those of us that are players said, you know what, it has to be fully adjustable, yet we don't want any visible screws. It has to be have all kinds of technology to it, but we want that to be invisible to the end user. Technology like we are controlling the break angle of the string over the saddle. By controlling that and customizing that break angle, we can get equal string tension across all 6 strings, so it feels completely natural to your left hand. There's not a stiff string and then a squirrely string next to it. They're all balanced. We're controlling the string length because each string travels in its own saddle. And then we can lock down all 6 saddles from the back. So when you go to change strings or you gig with a gig bag and you vibrate the guitar to death, the saddles aren't going to move and you're not going to lose your intonation settings. So kind of lots of cool things that are invisible to most users, but it makes for a better playing experience. Finally, that whole bridge was made out of aluminum because aluminum has great sonic properties. Now, of course, nobody's milling and making aluminum bridges because that takes a level of expertise that most manufacturers don't have. But again, with our tooling department, they figured it out. They built all the tools, and then to make them in quantity, we actually went and found a flute manufacturer, and we introduced ourselves. We said, okay, we love the plating and secondary machine work you do on aluminum. Can we hand you a new product that you're going to make for us? And so we handed them the bridge and all the tooling and the mill to make it. And so they're making our bridge for us with all of our tools and stuff, and doing the plating and the machining for it. So we didn't stop there. We did knobs. We did everything on the guitar, like in the neck joint. And the solid body was born. There are 3 models, but they all share the same bridge, pickup design, and basic electronics. So this is called a classic. because it's a classic design. It's a swamp ash body, pick guard mounted controls, real simple. This is a standard with the maple or tamo ash tops, and then finally a custom. And this is an ultra custom, one of a kind that we did in Bastogne walnut, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Get in tune here. So, give a little quick pickup demo. The five-way switch does exactly what you expect it to do. It's fully neck pickup all the way forward. Or it's the full bridge pickup. It's in between that everything gets interesting. But here you can hear how clear that is. The second position uses the inside coil of the neck humbucker and the inside coil of the bridge pickup in parallel. Big difference. So that's the second position. The third position, full neck and half the bridge. Kind of stretching as I play it, getting in tune here. The fourth position, same inside two coils, but now they're in series. It's a little fuller and fatter tone. I'm actually going to turn down a little bit so I can hit the guitar harder. It's a fat, kind of a strat tone. And finally the bridge. Need a little more reverb for that. I grew up playing in a surf band. I can't help it, you know. So if I were to play this in the overdrive channel, this is where it kind of gets fun, because with the dynamic range of this pickup, I can get some things going on like this, where I'm in that second position. It cleans up a little bit. Speed 2. And then just go straight to the bridge. But the rest of that tone would, from that signature sound, would come by rolling the tone control off. Our tone control does a fun thing where it's regular tone control for the first 2/3, and then the last third is like stepping on a wah-wah pedal and leaving it partially on. So now I can do it. Or go back to the... Go from clean to dirty just with the switch. So that's the solid body. That same tone circuit, 5-way switch, and pickups available on any of the guitars.